This is the Hollywood Outsider. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. With me today are my co-host, Scott Clark.
Top of the evening to you, sir.
And to you, sir, Justin McCumber.
Oh, top of the evening to you.
That was a horrible leprechaun.
Is that what we're doing? Shut the fuck up.
Brian Williams.
Hello.
That was the best theme song yet.
That lady that driving around, the cop or whatever, she's moist as a bundt cake right now.
Oh my God, I just cried. Every hero needs a theme song. Well, how are you guys doing?
Excellent.
We're doing all right.
Doing all right.
I think we should all, except Brian, do a Southern accent next week. just all come on here and just do Southern accents. Like, so, y'all, what movies did you watch this week?
I'm watching that there Deliverance.
That thing was good. Squeal.
Ernest Goes to Christmas again.
Well, for those that have never tuned in before and probably will never tune in again, we are a movie and TV show podcast. Each week, we review the newest releases. This week, it's going to be Hunger Games, which I think everybody in the world saw. We talk about the newest movie and TV news. Have a couple of trivia games. Stump the Hoe, where each podcaster tries to stump all the rest of us podcasters. And What's This Movie, where we play a movie clip and ask you guys to try to guess it. We also do a flashback review of a little-known or obscure film from one of our podcasters each week to leave you with. And we have From the Outside In. It's a weekly topic. That's basically what's on ours or our listeners' minds. And this week, it's going to be our most anticipated films in the next 3 months, April through June. With that, how is everyone doing?
I'm ecstatic.
Why are you ecstatic?
My band's making some ground. I'm excited.
Your band?
My band?
Now Scott has a band.
We should be making music, not ground. And that sounds like a little bit of, back-breaking labor.
But in the ground where rock comes from.
He was Justin to turn that around. You can also find us
Scotty.
on Twitter at H_outsider, on iTunes, Stitcher, and you can email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. I almost forgot to say that. How's everyone else doing besides Rock and Scott Clark?
Doing pretty well. I really meant this week to go see John Carter. I think the past 2 weeks I've sworn I would go see it. And I still am struggling to finish this first draft, but I'm actually now within spitting distance of it. So fingers crossed.
Cool.
So
I'll eventually see a frickin' movie outside of the house.
I thought you were going to try and see Hunger Games too.
I want to see it, but my wife wants to see it. And when my wife wants to see it, as every married guy knows, you can't go see it on your own. And so you are therefore locked into when they go see it, then you'll see it. She hates crowds, and an opening weekend for a movie is not something she's going to do. So in the next week or two, when all the dipshits are hopefully out of the theaters, then we'll probably go see it. But opening weekend is just, she's not going to put up with that. We might go see it this weekend. I told her we should go to the movie tavern and go see it. And those have comfortable seats and smaller theaters, so you're not sitting amongst, 300 or 400 people. Hopefully we'll see it.
That's fair.
It'd be nice to get out of the house and see a movie.
Well, I look forward to hearing about John Carter next year. So.
When the DVD comes out, I'll let you know.
When the Criterion Collection hits the shelves.
And Brian, are you doing pretty good? You pretty excited? Your Game of Thrones is getting ready to start?
Oh, man, that would be, absolutely. It just hit me that it starts on April 1st, which if for some reason they say, you know what? No, I think we're going to start it next Sunday. That would be the worst.
I didn't even think about that.
April Fool's joke ever.
I think it'd be hilarious. I hope HBO does it.
I'm actually watching it as well live, Brian.
Nice.
So
really,
we'd all just hear this distant scream.
It'd be in a southern accent though. And just so you guys know, we are going to do a Game of Thrones spoiler cast, which should be hitting the radio waves, I guess, here soon. So look for that, where we're going to talk about the show itself in detail, because we don't want to spoil anything on the Hoe.
I can't wait till next year when that movie Carrier comes out. I really want to see that.
I was just looking at that shit.
Okay, well, let's go on to movie news, where first things first.
I'm like, she's playing an aircraft carrier? Is she like Edie?
Well, does she have like a disease?
Can we explain what we're talking about? See, each week I do a format, basically, and let these bitches know what the movie and TV news is going to be. Well, the first piece of news is Hit Girls, Chloe Moretz, was just cast as Carrie in the new reboot of the Stephen King classic. Unfortunately, I threw an R in there, and apparently she's playing an aircraft carrier. So I'm sorry for that.
Transformer.
Michael Bay's directed it. What do you guys think? Is this good casting? I think it's pretty instinctual.
I think it's pretty good, actually. That terrible remake, what was that, like late 90s, early 2000s?
Oh, that one when they just redid it a few years ago, or that a sequel
Like,
or whatever.
yeah, wasn't it like made for TV or something like
Yeah,
that?
it wasn't.
They
very
did that,
good.
and they did that horrible sequel too.
Do what?
They did a Carrie 2.
I
That's
don't remember
I don't
that.
think I've ever seen either of these things you're talking.
Neither one were good, so you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, thank God. Isn't she a little young?
She's 16 now.
Is she?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So she
Yeah, 'cause I know-
easy
yeah.
killer.
I
Won't be
guess
seeing
when
the,
you
won't be
look
seeing the
back on
shower
it, and you
scene.
remember Sissy Spacek as Carrie. Maybe she just seems a little older in retrospect than maybe she was when it originally came out. So Chloe Moretz may be a good casting for it. But I mean, considering that the character is a young girl who's, one of the traumatic events is that she gets her first period, I guess that age would be more appropriate.
Well, I think she can bring a lot to the part. She's a wonderful actress, so we'll see what happens. The next piece of news, after that faux pas of mine, the Wachowskis' next project is called Jupiter Ascending. It's very tightly under wraps. They don't really know. They know, obviously, because they're making it. But the plot is not known widespread what it really is going to be. But apparently they found their leads. They want to cast Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis of Black Swan. That's really what
Is that your Eastern European accent?
you like it?
Not really.
Fuck you, at least I don't sound like a tractor driver. Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum. I think that's good casting if I had any idea whatsoever what the plot is. I like both these guys. I'm just curious, Justin, you're a huge Wachowski fan. Do you know anything more about this?
I don't. And unfortunately, that casting really doesn't do a lot for me. I mean, I like Mila Kunis. I think she's really capable of a lot, but I don't care how funny Channing Tatum, was in 21 Jump Street. He always just looks like a meathead. And so I don't know if I could take him serious in, a hard sci-fi type movie, but I try to always keep an open mind. So we'll see. He's just not, it's kind of like when they cast Joey to be in that remake of
Lost
in Space.
Oh.
Who the fuck thought that was going to be a good idea?
He was actually the best part of that movie,
Well,
I thought.
considering all the turds he was floating amongst, I do like some of the people who are in it, but that movie was just bad from the word go. But
Gary Oldman
that
was in
that
it.
casting didn't inspire me then, and this really doesn't inspire me now. But I trust the Wachowskis to know what they're doing. I've loved almost everything they've ever done, so I don't
And
anticipate this changing that.
And their last original sci-fi movie was The Matrix, so that's a pretty good pedigree.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, they followed that up with Matrix Reloaded and Matrix.
Why don't you shut the fuck up?
Oh,
You
you pulled his string. You pulled his string.
Watch this
Some
puppet
people have that
dance.
podcast.
Watch this puppet dance. Okay. Director Jonathan Liebesman confirmed that they are working on a Battle Los Angeles sequel. All I wanted to ask you guys is why.
You liked the first one.
No, I did not.
I like
Could
it.
have swore it was you. That
No,
liked
it wasn't me.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was a bit long. I thought they probably could have trimmed it down maybe 15, 20 minutes or so, but overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Do you think it merited a
that's-
sequel?
That movie is almost like what that TV show with Noah Wyle, Falling Skies, should be.
Give me
I didn't.
more.
I
I'm
didn't
fine
think it
with
was
that.
a bad movie, but do you think it's something you want to see more of?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I was
I
bored.
loved that gritty take on, the alien invasion where you don't know why they're there. So many, compare this to like that Skyline piece of shit Drac film. This gave you none of that exposition. You didn't really understand who these aliens were, why they were there. It was just Marines on the ground fighting. And I loved that lack of airs. It was just a combat sci-fi film, and I loved it. I would really like to see more and have that story maybe develop over other films instead of trying to cram all this crap into one movie, which I think Skyline really just suffered from.
That's fair enough. All right.
Other than shitty actors in that too.
Well, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of reimaginings going off around Hollywood. They were reimagining Sherlock Holmes several times, as well as other characters. Well, now Paramount's producing a reimagining called Huck that's going to be about Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn as adults in a series of adventures. And then supposedly they're taking the route of Snow White and the Huntsman in terms of how they're telling the story, which is they're taking the basic premise and making it its own thing. I think it's a pretty cool idea, actually. I really wanted you guys' take on it.
Well, this is a source that's really not been touched in a long time.
A really long time, yeah.
Well, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the last one they did back in the 90s.
We don't count Home Improvement movies.
So it's I'm all for this, especially if it's similar to Snow White and the Huntsman. Bring this shit on, man. Bring it.
Well, I don't think there's going to be too many evil witches in a Huck Finn film, but I don't know. This
rolling down the Mississippi.
This, strangely enough, I wouldn't say it bothers me, but Mark Twain is one of the most important American writers ever, and just of writers ever. And there's this weird reaction that I have to the idea of someone taking his work and then trying to extrapolate it forward and create something new with it. I don't know why I give him, special, feelings over, the Brothers Grimm who created Snow White and all those, but I do. I can't say that I don't. I really don't like this idea. Mark Twain is just too sacred. And I hate to use that word because I'm not a religious person, but when it comes to words and literature, he's sacred to me. And I kind of hate this idea, but that said, I'll wait and see what they do with it before I, run towards Paramount with my pitchfork and torches.
Real quick, I want to address that. I feel the same way about Sherlock Holmes as you do about Mark Twain. Arthur Conan Doyle is very sacred to me. I mean, I didn't like anybody fucking with his stories or words or anything because they've done very few adaptations that were worthy as far as I'm concerned. But in the last couple of years, I've gotten the Sherlock Holmes movies, which I like. I mean, they're not Conan Doyle per se, but they make it their own thing and it's very fun. And as well as the BBC show Sherlock, which is fantastic. So I will give you those two as references that it can be done well. It's really just a matter of who gets behind it.
You make a good point.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Scott?
There was a lot of controversy in the news over Huckleberry Finn recently with the schools making new copies of it, taking out different words in the book.
Don't even get me started.
No, and that's not what I was trying to do, Justin. But what would you think about them kind of taking the other direction and taking this movie with a more serious tone on the racial side of it? I mean, 'cause that's what the book really was about. Was what if they kind of went a darker route with that a little bit?
Are you looking
maybe
to
a bad
pitch
choice
this,
of words?
Are you looking to pitch this to the KKK for funding or something? Or
No, I wasn't.
Well,
Why power?
It's
not what but because in the book, I mean, there were some, pretty brutal stuff going on there as far as
very
slavery.
honest stuff for that time.
Right.
For that time.
And, part of the argument with removing that stuff from those books was, well, that's how it really was. Why are we taking it out? It's a part of our history, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then all of the goofy stuff they did, like the Home Improvement version, like you said, it was very tame. It wasn't even about that. It was just about two kids that, had fun or whatever, taking it and kind of bringing it back around. And I think that could be kind of interesting.
That's interesting. We'll see when we hear more. I just think you guys should know that it is coming down the pike. I haven't said that in a while. So get ready for it. One thing that I would really like to just make go away is Brett Ratner is in talks to direct a sequel to one of my beloved classic, almost one of my favorite films, probably my top 20 movies, Midnight Run. He's in talks to direct a sequel to Midnight Run. If you never saw Midnight Run, you should find it because it's hysterical, especially for Robert De Niro trying to play comedy. It's just
Charles Grodin.
Grodin
so funny.
is priceless. I don't know why they want to do a sequel to a movie that was from 1988 now, because De Niro's not looking better. And Grodin has been retired for years. The last thing he did was fucking Beethoven movies. I really don't see what the point of bringing him back would be. What do you guys think? And Brett Ratner? Don't even get me started. Leave him out of sequels. He shouldn't be allowed to do sequels to anything ever again.
This idea makes no sense at all. I don't understand who You know, who greenlit this? And why isn't that person fired?
No good will come of this.
No, someone will suffer from it. I promise you. And the only thing I can think of is why would De Niro do it? This movie was such a product of its time. Granted, it's one of the few movies that holds up from the 80s because it was very much just a gritty action comedy. But man, leave it alone, man. Let it be a classic like it is. I don't know. Kenneth Branagh is in talks to direct the Jack Ryan reboot with Chris Pine at the helm.
I give this my stamp of approval.
Yep.
In case you weren't aware, Kenneth Branagh just directed the Thor remake, or not remake, but adaptation. It was a remake of a film from the 15th century.
A remake of the comic as a movie.
Yeah.
So it kind of works.
But he's a very good director. He's done a lot of period pieces, a lot of Shakespeare.
Henry V is one of the best Shakespearean adaptations ever.
He's extremely talented. Extremely talented. And he gave up Thor 2 because he didn't want to do a bunch of sequels, which kind of surprised me that now he's going to do a Jack Ryan reboot. But Jack Ryan is what Alec Baldwin played. And
you're talking like the Hunt for Red October.
Hunt for Red October. And Harrison Ford played in Patriot Games and whatever the
Clear
other one
and
was.
Present Danger.
Thank you. Clear and Present Danger.
Fantastic.
And then Ben Affleck played. And
Yeah, he kind of killed the franchise.
Some of All Fears.
Some of All Fears. Thank you.
The sad thing was that movie was good. I enjoyed that movie. It's just he wasn't Jack Ryan to me.
He didn't really sell it. But
I like the idea of Chris Pine, though.
I'm just curious if they're going to try, by rebooting this, does that mean they're going to start over with Patriot Games? Which, in the chronology of Jack Ryan, Patriot Games actually takes place before Hunt for Red October and all the other Clancy novels. So are they going to remake Patriot Games, or are they just going to make Jack Ryan movies that really don't have much to do with the Clancy novels?
This is supposedly a completely new reboot, and it has nothing to do with, like, it has to do with that universe, but it's not like one of the books.
Are there
just another Jack Ryan movie with Chris Pine?
Yeah, basically.
So we're just going to have Bourne Identity, Mission Impossible, the Chris Pine.
Exactly. Right. But with Kenneth Branagh doing it, it could make it for a good movie.
Yeah, it could. I'll wait and see what they do with it. I mean, I love Clancy's novels, and I've read quite a few of them, but they're not, they are not sacrosanct to me. So I'll see what they do.
They're just fun movies. Hunt for October is one of my top 20 movies. I love that movie.
Ask Alec Baldwin how he feels about not doing sequels now. I want more money. Yeah, I bet you do. The last piece of news before we move on to trailers and Stump the Hoe is, and this is the last piece of bully news we're going to do, until we get a review, we're not going to talk about it again. But Harvey Weinstein put Bully one more time in front of the MPAA, and the vote failed by one vote to give it a PG-13 rating. So it would have been rated R. I can't talk today. So he's going to instead release the film unrated versus an R rating to theaters nationwide. Now, the stipulation with an unrated film is that no one under 18 is admitted, period. Not with an adult, not with anybody else. They cannot go see the movie. So my question to you guys is this a smart move?
No.
Who dictates that?
Who dictate? That is what the theaters agreed to with the MPAA. Okay. Motion Picture Association of America, who rates these films.
So if they decided they wanted to open this up to anyone, what could happen? What would be the response?
Well, they can't. It would violate their contract with the MPAA. They have a signed agreement with the ratings board that they will abide by these laws, by these rules. Sorry, not really laws, but it's the contract that they have.
I think if Weinstein was smart, he would probably release this on DVD, Blu-ray, digital download, just bypass the theater chain altogether, and then that way it will be in the hands of those who want to show it to whoever.
Yep. Well, I think it's what he's going to do. Here's the one trick, and I think this is probably the reason he's doing it unrated. He has spoken for a long time that he wants to use this as a teaching tool in school so teachers can use it and show students and whatnot. If it's released as an R rating, they can't do that. For whatever reason, they can't do that. But for some reason, if it's unrated, they still have that option. Now, I don't know why that is, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know. Nor did I have time to dig into it really deep to find out why. But that's an interesting business perspective, because I'm sure there's a lot of money to recoup that way by selling it to schools and whatnot. So I'm sure there's a business reason as well. But it seems very much by people that have seen it and by himself, that by Weinstein himself, that this film is actually very deep and moving, and it actually really addresses the issues of bullying in our schools. So do you think that's a smarter move, that, you know what, forego the money you're going to make in the theaters, you'll make some money in schools, but you'll be serving the better good by getting it to schools?
It comes down to what his purpose for it is. Is he doing this to make money, or is he doing this to make a difference?
It seems like difference for once. I mean, usually I would say he's the first one that wants to make a buck, but everything I've seen seems like he actually cares about the subject, which is funny because he seems like a bully.
I don't know. As a heavy guy, he may have spent his entire youth being picked on and bullied. So this could be something quite near and dear to him. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If that's his motivation, then more power to him. You know, just whatever he feels is right. Go with it. I mean, if that's his conviction, do it.
Well,
don't even just bypass the movies. Screw it.
Well, I mean, when you buy it on DVD, anybody can pretty much buy it then. I know what the rules say, but I still see kids buying these DVDs. So
Yeah,
I will definitely check it out as soon as it comes to a theater near me. So, because I'm well over 18. Well over.
You're like well over double.
No, I'm not. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm
you
over
are.
double. I'll take that.
All right. Last piece of, well, not really news, but the new trailers that are out. Each week we talk about the newest trailers that have hit the interwebs and the theaters. It's usually some high-profile upcoming movies. You can always find them on our website at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, trailers, recent episodes. This week there's two, and they're both from the same writer, lady. The first one, I'm so excited, is Twilight Breaking Dawn, Part 2, the final film in this franchise before they spin it off into new actors. What do you guys think?
I have a hard time getting excited because I haven't followed the series since the first one. So
It looks like she's pregnant.
Yeah,
And she's
she's
married.
actually not. She gave
No.
birth on the first.
Oh, she did? I haven't seen it. I don't know
Part
what
one.
she looks like a vampire. Is what she looks like.
She is a vampire in this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
The deepest moment I saw was, well, now we're the same temperature. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, this is so stupid.
Well, the line wasn't deliberate, but that was part of the story. Is like he was cold. She was.
Yeah,
always,
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I wasn't saying it like I didn't understand. I was saying it like that's just cheesy awful. Now, Brian, you have seen these
I've
all
seen
in
all
the
of
theater.
them multiple times.
Does this look better than the rest of them?
No.
Well, he's team Jacob, so he's already mad.
He's already lost.
Wait, multiple times, Brian?
His wife's
Yeah.
a huge fan, so he
Yeah,
says.
my wife's a
So he
huge fan.
says.
Yeah, so he claims.
Couldn't like go play Gears of War 3 or something while it was going on, or
Not when she's watching it on the big TV.
So, you don't think it looks any better or worse than the other ones?
No, I mean it looks like the rest of them. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more action. I believe just the way they've kind of set up the end of part one.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. It's like all the others. The trailer's not going to make me not go see it because I'm basically forced to go see it, whether because of my wife. So, but and in fairness to the movies, they are entertaining. I don't particularly think they're great, but they are entertaining.
Worst
So-
ways to spend a couple of hours, I guess.
Absolutely. So
All right. What about the next one? Now, the next one is the same author. Was it Stephanie Meyer? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is a different series that she wrote, which I'm not familiar with either one. But The Host is the trailer that we saw. I got to tell you, and it's on the website, so please go check it out, thehollywoodoutsiders.com. But all I saw was basically an alien race is invading us to some degree. I assume they're the hosts, and they're invading our bodies and taking over.
Well, we would be the
or
host.
we would be the
hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Uh,
Has anybody read
Same
Unlike-
temperature,
unlike you.
because they're warm.
Has anybody read the book?
No, I've seen it. I know it's her trying to branch into sci-fi and do something different. It's, so far as I know, it's not. There's only one book. I don't know if there's actually any more making it a series, but I have the trail. This teaser didn't do shit for me. It's just a bunch of eyes,
Yeah, it didn't really tell you anything about what the movie is, except for aliens are going to invade us.
and then you get
It's
glowy
glittery.
eyes.
It's glittery aliens versus like hairy dinosaurs.
And then like and then a couple years we're gonna get like aliens versus vampires. So they're gonna come together, and it's gonna be awesome.
I would go see that. Let's do it. That would be sweet. Okay, well that's it for trailers. There's a couple more that have just come out, and there's a Total Recall one that will be out by this time next week. So we will definitely be talking about that next week. And that's a remake of Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell's in the remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
Stump the Hoe.
Stump the Hoe is our weekly contest where one of our podcasters tries to stump the other podcasters by asking a trivia question, and then we answer, and we find out what the actual answer is at the end of the show. Brian is going to try to stump us this week. So, Brian, stump us hose.
All right. This one is going to take a little bit of writing, so if you got something to write with, grab it. You got a pen
story problems and shit? All right, go.
So, all right. Just bear with me here. Just like draw a horizontal line.
Okay.
All right. 2 lines going down from the ends of that.
Okay.
And another line at the bottom of it.
Okay.
What you got?
I got a box.
All right. Just checking.
Rectangle.
Anyway, so the question is, in the Hunger Games...
What the fuck was that?
Just checking. So, just making sure you can follow instructions. So, all right. In the Hunger Games, one of the characters, his name is Marvel, is played by the son of which famous Hollywood couple?
Okay.
You with me here?
Yep, go.
All right. And the choices are A, Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon, B, Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan, C, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, or D, Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick.
Justin?
I'm trying to figure out how this fits into the box. And I've got this box. There's nothing in it.
It's got nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with it. So.
Shit, I wasted a piece of paper then.
It's a really
I'll
nice
go
box.
with Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. D.
Scott?
I was gonna go A.
What was A? I don't even remember.
A is Tim Robbins, Susan Sarandon.
Okay.
B, Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. C, Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn. Or D, Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick.
Okay. I'm going with B, Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid. Because everything should be Dennis Quaid. That's really what I think. Okay. So we will be giving you the actual answers near the end of the show. So be sure to stick around or fast forward if you must. But we aren't allowed to Google or anything, so that was all honest answers. Now we're on to the big screen, where this week we're joined by a special guest, Amber Hammer. How you doing, Amber?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. She's been on many episodes ago, but she's guesting to talk about the Hunger Games because she's a huge fan of the books for some reason, right?
Because I know how to read.
Yes.
Are you judging me?
I am judging you. I don't read very
It's not
much.
like you listen to them.
Yeah, I didn't listen to him like Scott did. You love the books. The books are really good, solid entertainment, whatnot.
No, they're miserable, and I drudged through all 3 of them, and multiple times.
No, how many times have you read the first one? How many times have you read the first one?
The first one I think I've read 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I've read the whole series twice, and then I just reread the first one about a week before the movie came out.
But you already knew how it was going to end, right?
Yeah.
That's usually what happens when you read the book that the movie is based on.
I mean, I don't know if that happens when you like listen to a book like Scott does, where
When
he
you
kind of
listen?
reads it / listens.
Maybe you get flashy.
Hey, let's not get personal here now. Come on.
All right.
I listen to them too.
Well, Amber's joining us, so we have a couple avid readers of the series on. Brian and I did not read the books or listen to them. Scott and Amber have read them, so we're going to see what...
I didn't read them.
Well, Scott has heard them, and Amber has read them.
I've read them, but I didn't see the movie, so I'm kind of in the middle.
But Justin might weigh in with some insight in terms of what he's looking for. But real quick, just for those that have never heard of the Hunger Games, which surprisingly a lot of people haven't, I'm going to give you a real quick synopsis of what the movie is about. North America has been ruined, and through its ashes, the capital of the nation of Panem forces each of its 12 districts to send one teenage boy and one teenage girl and a dog to compete in the annual Hunger Games. There's no actual dog. That just happened to pop in there. The Hunger Games are...
must have gone running by.
The Hunger Games is a nationally televised event that citizens are required to watch where each of these 24 contestants are going to fight to the death until only one of them remains alive. That's the punishment for a past uprising, if I understand it right, and a constant reminder for each district to mind its place and keep yo bitches in line. When her little sister's selected for this year's Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen, who's played by the amazingly smokingly hot Jennifer Lawrence, that's my little ad there, volunteers herself as tribute. And as tribute, basically, she's volunteering herself to be the Hunger Games and take her sister's place. And thus begins her little adventure with both the preparation of the games, where she gets prepared to actually undertake it and learns all about how the sponsorship and everything works. And she shares a mentor with a fellow district mate, Peeta, and then gets a personal stylist who's played by Lenny fucking Kravitz, which we'll get to that in a minute. And then the games themselves begin, and she fights everyone in an effort to stay alive and retain her humanity. The main purpose of the game is she gets in there with all these people, and she has to kill 23 people to come out alive. That's the purpose of the games. Now, that's what the movie is about. Who wants to chime in? You guys read the books. I want Amber and Scott to go first. What did you guys think, since you basically had a complete understanding of the universe and the world and Katniss herself?
Amber, you go ahead. You're the guest.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really glad that you didn't say ladies first, because I can't live up to that.
Well, then Scott would go first.
I don't know. I think I'm probably a huge fan of the books, and that may have hindered me a bit in enjoying the movie itself. I will say that in all the adaptations that I've seen, a novel turned into a movie, this is probably one of the closest comparisons. There were very few changes. I think for the most part they followed the book. Some of the changes that they did make, I mean, obviously I have opinions on whether they were needed or not. But I mean, as far as comparing it to the book, I think they did a very good job. I would say that Jennifer Lawrence is probably the most spot-on, amazing casting I've ever seen in a movie.
Agreed.
I mean, she is Katniss. I can't even picture anyone else just doing that role. She just completely owned that. For the most part, I thought the casting was great from what the book portrays. I thought the kid who plays Peeta was a little weak, personally, for me. And part of that could just be that in the book, he is kind of a bigger structure. I mean, I think to describe him, you assume he's a little over 6 foot tall. He's just a bigger guy, and he's way too small in stature and kind of wimpy in the movie. So, but I thought it was a solid movie. There was a little bit of, I guess, I don't want to say amateur, but it kind of felt amateur camera work, in the beginning and in some of the action spots. I felt like it was pretty shaky. And I thought that could have been tightened up a little bit. But overall, I thought it was a solid movie, entertaining, followed the book. And any complaints I had, Jennifer Lawrence completely just blew me away. And I don't know, I just thought she was amazing. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. So, I mean, if I had to rate it, which I'm not a big fan of, but if I had to,
you do actually. You have to rate it.
If you're forcing me, I'd probably give it an 8, maybe an 8.5.
Now, one question: what's the biggest? What would you say is the biggest change, without spoiling anything? I mean, what's the biggest change from the book to the movie?
And actually, it doesn't spoil anything because they put it in the trailer, so I kind of knew this going in. It's the Mockingjay pin. The pin that kind of becomes the symbol. It really is the symbol, actually, of the books and everything with Katniss.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, when she's leaving for the Hunger Games, one of her kind of friends, Madge, who is the mayor's daughter, gives her this pin because it's made out of pure gold and it's pretty, and they could never afford something like that in the district they come from. Mm-hmm. But in the movie, and like I said, they show it in the trailer, Katniss purchases it at kind of like a flea market, if you will, or something. So that was probably my biggest annoyance, just because, and Justin, you've read all 3, and I'm not sure if Scott has or not, but
yes,
that pin plays a huge part in the books. and even Madge giving her that pin plays a huge part in the books. So I was kind of disappointed at that and how that's going to, develop the storyline as they continue on the movies, since they left that part out.
The biggest disappointment for me story-wise was, and I won't spoil anything, but there was a scene towards the end, and Amber, you know what I'm talking about, at the cornucopia, which I thought was a very pivotal, and they kind of destroyed that from what they did in the book versus what was in the movie. Maybe I'll tell you off air or something, but
if you would.
Something that they did in the book at that scene that was really, really poignant in my opinion, if I'm pronouncing that word right. But and they just left it out completely, and it would have been hard to do, I don't think, in the movie, and I was really disappointed they didn't go that route. But
what do you think of the movie overall?
I really liked it. I am pretty much everything Hammer said. Really good adaptation, one of the better adaptations I've seen. The casting was spot on. I could not stand the shaky cam at the beginning. To me, that seemed very cheap, just a very cheap way to show intensity, and it didn't really need to. That said, it was kind of interesting how they switched, because that shaky cam was mostly while they were in District 12, while they were going through the chaos of the reaping and all that. Once you got past that and they went into the Capitol, it was very calm shots, that kind of thing. And I think the purpose of that was to show just how bad District 12 was versus the Capitol, because you only had 10, 15 minutes or whatever to really get the feeling for District 12. So I think it's a little cheap. I think it could have gone a different way to do it, but it was extremely annoying to see that during the movie. But like Amber said, the casting was amazing. Woody Harrelson as Haymitch. I was expecting him to be a little more.
Haymitch is the mentor, right?
Correct. Haymitch is the mentor for both Peeta and Katniss. I kind of want him to be a more traditional Woody Harrelson, in that I expect him to be a little more drunk. I don't know, like kind of PG-13 that up a little bit, because in the books he was just hammered all the time, and
he seemed pretty hammered all the time here.
Not near as much in the book. It was pretty. Are you backing me up there, Amber?
Yes, it was very downplayed.
Yeah, and
that was part of his whole character, though.
Yeah, and they didn't really go to that extent. I mean, like, there's an entire scene in the book where he actually vomits all over Peeta, and Peeta has to shower him. And we totally lost that in the movie.
I don't see why I would need that, really.
Well,
that's probably what the producers thought too.
I mean, in the book,
it speaks to his character of being this previous winner of the games and what became of him after that. And when you see the depths that he's fallen to, that gives his character a place to rise from. And if you remove that downfall of his character early on, then where do you get the goodness of him, kind of redeeming himself, if there's really nowhere to redeem from?
Absolutely.
I gotcha.
The one I really want to hear, because you saw it as well, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
And then we kind of got three different perspectives, because Amber read the books well before the movie came out. I read the books literally like a month before the movie came out. And as I read the book, I knew who the casting was. So I didn't have the luxury like Amber did of like picturing the characters in her head and then seeing them come to life either as she pictured them or not. Now, you haven't read the book at all.
Nope.
And I want to hear you.
I read the cover.
The cover?
Yeah.
The part where it says the Hunger Games?
Yeah, I didn't read that part. I just
it was like meh.
Yeah, pretty much. And what did you give it out of 10?
I actually also gave it an 8. I wanted to give it more. I was a little overhyped maybe, but the shaky cam at the beginning was a little too much. And I don't know, just some of the acting was a little flat. I mean, some of it was kids, obviously, but
Brian, what'd you think? Because you did not read the books.
No, no, I didn't. I just thought it was an entertaining movie. I mean, I didn't think it was really anything special. It was, like I said, it was entertaining, but the storyline just kind of seemed almost cookie cutterish, just, and so I mean, I don't know. Of course, as my wife beat me up on the drive home because she loved it a lot. She thought, like you guys say, it was very true to the book. Of course, she was like, it left this out, left that out, but I mean, it was 2.5 hours as it was. So, it was, I kind of agree with the shaky cam stuff. A lot of the action, and I guess because of the rating and everything, and of course the market they're catering to, you really couldn't show too much of the violence. From what I understand, that it was a lot more visceral in the book. Mm-hmm. It's kind of toned down in the movie. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more actual people getting cut up or what have you, but but they kind of you got the same feeling. You had a lot of really tight shots, so it was you felt like you were right there, and it was fast motions and stuff. So but it was overall. I mean, it was all right. It was entertaining, and I mean that's the bottom line. I mean, I'd probably give it a 6.5, maybe a 7. But
okay, well, that's Brian's take. I also did not read the books, so here's what I thought. I thought Jennifer Lawrence, flat out amazing. I thought she was fantastic. I think she carried the entire film on her shoulder. I really went into the movie thinking she was going to be like Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill, like just this wild, kick-ass killing machine. She wasn't. I thought she had depth, warmth, heart, compassion, not a ruthless killer at all. I think everything she does it to survive and to maintain her personal character. And I honestly think very few actresses that I could think of could pull that off. I left the movie going, I wonder who else would play that, and I couldn't think of anybody. Because I think Jennifer Lawrence, outside of the fact that I've wanted to be her winter's bone for a while, I'm a big fan of hers as an actress. She's a really good actress, very solid actress, and she really blew me away with how well she did. I thought she made the movie. I think if you cast anybody else in this role and they don't do as well as she did, you have a completely different turnout in terms of what the response is going to be. She's the soul of the movie. I really liked Woody Harrelson and Lenny Kravitz, which surprised the hell out of me. I mean, Lenny fucking Kravitz.
It's great.
I knew he was in it, but I figured it would be like a really small role, and it's actually kind of pivotal. Mm-hmm. And there's actually a scene between her and Lenny Kravitz. Sina, is that how you pronounce it? Sina. Where I felt like they had more of a connection than PETA and her did, like they were supposed to have later in the film. But, whatever the story is, that's how it has to play out. I think Josh Hutcherson, who played PETA, was a whiny bitch, and I never bought the relationship at all. And they're supposed to have like this whole, that's the only thing that's Twilight-ish about it, and people keep comparing it to Twilight, which isn't fair at all. But there is like this mild love triangle that's kind of forced upon the world between them. I didn't buy it at all. Never once did I buy it. Not once. Because this guy's a whiny bitch. And I don't know the story from the books, so I can't speak to that at all. Don't care what he is on paper. I can only tell you what I saw in the film. And in the film, he's a whiny bitch who served no purpose other than to annoy me.
Wait until the next one.
What's that?
Wait until the next one.
Well, we'll see if he gets whinier. But I really could buy Lenny Kravitz and Jennifer Lawrence hooking up a lot more than I could her and this guy. Because she could do so much better. Now,
you got to remember in that relationship, again, we're comparing the book to the.
No, you're comparing them. I'm telling you, as a moviegoer, I don't have to compare it to shit.
No, I understand. I'm just telling you that in the book, that's a one-sided relationship in this book. Everything that she's doing in that scene is an act because she's doing it because she thinks because she cares for him, but she's doing it all to try to save him, to try to keep people alive because she doesn't want anybody to die.
Oh, I got that, and I think she really cares about Gale, who's the guy that she left at home, played by Liam Hemsworth, who's Chris Hemsworth, Thor's brother.
You know that.
Yeah, he's Thor's brother, and they're both very charismatic guys. Now, liked him a lot. He's a very small role, but he's like a charismatic beast. He's just like his brother. They both like can carry the screen. They're both like strapping dudes and sexy and everything. Give him more screen time. Make this bitchy, whiny fucker go away. That's what I say. I don't care how many. If he's real pivotal in the books, PETA, make him less pivotal because I don't like him. He's really the only actor in the whole movie I didn't like. The Elizabeth Banks, she really surprised me. She was really good because I know her. I'm a fan of her work and Slither and Zack and Mira Mega Porno and a bunch of other stuff. And I was really surprised to see her play a character role. That was really good. The drama and the story I thought were all very moving. Lawrence is really who made it all work. The only downfall I thought was really the action scenes, which you kind of talked about. Gary Ross is the director, and he's a very skilled director. He did Pleasantville, which I thought was a really clever film, done well. It was a few years ago. But the action scenes, awful. I'm not I'm not like you where I think they bothered me. I'm not like Brian where they didn't bother me much. They bothered me a lot. I thought they were really poorly done. It's not because of the shaky cam. It's because you couldn't understand any of the action going on. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you who was winning a fight. I couldn't tell you who was throwing a punch. I couldn't tell you anything that was going on. That really, if this would have been a true action movie like it's sold, I would have got up and walked out. But thankfully, it's more of a drama and a thriller, and the action really is a minor part of it. I mean, it's there and it's intense and everything else, but really it's her quest for survival and stuff that really is the center of it. But whenever they do the sequel, they need to sit him down and say, you're really good with actors and with drama and with story, but you suck at capturing a fight on a screen because nobody could understand. And you guys back me up or disagree with me, but I couldn't understand a single fight in the entire movie what was going on. Not one single fight. And I don't mean like a couple of them were a little fuzzy, a couple of them were real quick cuts. I could not understand who was winning, what was going on. You saw quick cuts and then it was over, and you saw whoever was presiding on top of that person, basically. Really, I thought it was shit. Just shit. At first I thought, because you had told me this before I went into it, Scott, you had told me, the shaky cam's really kind of frustrating. And then Brian said the same thing, and then Amber said the same thing. So I'm going into the movie going, well, this is going to be, probably a distraction, when it ended up being something that really started annoying me after a while. But thankfully, it's not the biggest part of the movie. So overall, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't mean that to say that it detracted from the movie, because it really didn't, because the action is not as big a part of the movie as you think it would be. So I give it 8 out of 10 as well, thanks to Jennifer Lawrence, really.
She looked great too, like whether it was in the woods and she was hunting, but then when they put her on stage and she's wearing a dress, she just looked amazing in like every scene she was in.
I know, she's a dirty girl that looks good dirty.
Sure.
And a clean girl that looks good clean. She just looks good no matter what you're doing. Just fantastic. Now, Justin, you haven't seen it. Do you have any questions in terms of the book? Books?
No, I mean, not really. I recognize that they're two completely different mediums, and so sometimes not sometimes, all the time, changes have to be made, and you have to allow for that to happen. I mean, the whole thing about her pen, I understand. I knew going into it that was going to be different. I kind of heard that it was going to be more her Prim giving the pen to her rather than the other girl. I actually found that to be a bit more appropriate, especially for a film where you can't spend, the 5 or 6 minutes it would take to establish who this other little girl is and why she's important. But no, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about this film other than your little bitch in there. So I really look forward to seeing it, especially what they do with the second and third ones, because this one really is just establishing the world, the characters, and the situation. It's the next two films that really dive deep into who these people actually are. So I'm looking forward to it.
There's two other things that I really liked about this movie that I wanted to share. I didn't get to share in my review. One is, it's hard to compare this movie, or it's hard to talk about this movie without comparing it to like the Twilight series and Harry Potter and stuff like that. But what I liked about this is that the love triangle, as little as even though it was there, was more of an afterthought in this movie.
Yeah, it's very small.
As opposed to like, it wasn't Team Peeta versus Team Gale or anything like that. And
I'm Team Gale then. He wins.
But I like that fact that the more important things that are going on in this story are prominent and in your face, and the love triangle is kind of off to the side. The other thing that I like, when again comparing it to something like Twilight, is the character of Katniss to me is such a much stronger character than like Bella from Twilight. Like she's a good role model. She's very much about her family. She's strong-willed, and she's got a little bit of an attitude, as opposed to Bella, who is morose and, I don't know, bummed out all the time, and like that character connected to people because she thought that a lot of women thought. Katniss is someone to look up to, and I think that is really important in this movie. She's really a, like I said, a good role model. I really like that as compared to the Twilight series.
She can gut bitches. Yeah. And I do like how she tries to keep her humanity throughout the entire film. She really is trying. She realizes that I'm not going to get out of here until everybody's dead, but I'm not going to be the one that seeks them out. And I don't know if that's how the story was told in the books. That's really how it comes across in the movie. I don't want to kill anybody. I'm being forced into this, but I'm going to find a way around it if I can. And the little girl, what's her name? The character, I can't remember. Prim.
Or no, you're talking about
Her sister?
Rue.
No.
Rue.
Rue, the girl that she takes up one of the other contestants. Fantastic actress, or not fantastic in terms of her acting, but just fantastic in that role because she really like warmed me over and really made me feel like, you know what, these are real kids trapped in this. To me, I mean, even though it's a movie, I felt like, some of these kids are, they don't want to be there. That's the impression I got. Whereas, I was really worried that all the other contestants were going to be these diehard jocks, like the main one, that were just like gung-ho, kill, kill, kill. And it was nice to see, like, these are real kids trapped in a world they don't want to be in. They're just forced to be there. And that was really, her and Lawrence were the best ways to convey that, and they did a great job, I thought. If only the action was understandable. Damn it, Gary Ross.
Not only that, but I mean, I kind of felt like, the books, at least I think so, are pretty gruesome as far as, when they're in the arena and you get to read in detail about all of the, the slaughtering of each other, basically. And I felt like the movie went a little soft. I felt like it could have pushed its, PG-13 rating a little harder. We really didn't get anything I really didn't think we got anything that justified a PG-13 rating, really. There wasn't, I thought we lost a lot of the violence, personally. So I feel like it wasn't really conveyed to you.
Well, the book is already is controversial in its subject matter and the violence and some of the gruesomeness of it. I think that as a movie studio, they didn't want to, put their high profile product out there in such a way that controversy that the books have would apply to their movie. And I can't fault them for wanting to take a safer route to ensure, that people can go to the movies and that they're not going to have all these talking heads later on saying, well, this movie was way too violent. You shouldn't take your kids and lose the money. And for me, the books were never really about the violence. I mean, the gruesomeness of it. They were more about the tragedy and the drama. So the fact that that's lost, I don't think really would bother me as a viewer, but I'll have to see it to really know.
Okay. Well, that is our review of Hunger Games. Amber, you gave it what out of 10?
8.
Scott?
8.
I gave it an 8. Brian?
7.
Okay, so we're all right. Brian's the one that's kind of off base.
Oh, now that everybody else agrees, you're all right.
Well, that is our review. All positive. So we all liked it to some degree. So you guys should check out The Hunger Games. Okay, thanks for coming on, Amber. I appreciate that. Now, moving on to box office real quick. Hunger Games got the third largest opening of all time with $152.5 million in 3 fucking days.
It's awesome.
Can you believe that? Second only to Dark Knight and the last Harry Potter movie. So it's the largest non-sequel opening ever.
Suck on that, John Carter. You know what? Real quick.
Okay.
I heard that the possible reason they dropped the whole of Mars bit is because Disney took such a bath on Mars Needs Moms.
Yep, that's true.
That completely spoiled Mars.
That's
and
true.
that's why they cut it. And if that's the truth, fucking stupid.
So that movie was so bad it destroyed a planet.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a Death Star, just boom.
That's part of it. Well, that's how well Hunger Games did. $152 million. Wow. Okay, real quick, if you want to listen to last week's episode, we talked about the March 30th releases, Mirror Mirror and Wrath of the Titans, and we also reviewed 21 Jump Street. So if you're still wondering if you should see that, listen to episode 34, and that's where we talked about it. Upcoming, there's not much coming out in the next week, but we thought we'd talk about what is coming out. On April 4th, Titanic is being re-released in 3D. So nothing's changed. The ship still sinks. But it's
Spoiler
gonna,
alert.
But it's going to be. Damn it! I hate when I ruin the ends like that. But DiCaprio is about 15 years younger, and Kate Winslet does show her boobs in 3D. So that is one movie that's coming out. Nothing's changed though. So outside of the 3D, it's the same movie. You guys interested in this at all?
No.
No.
I actually loved Titanic.
I did too.
Hey,
I don't
well,
know if I'll go see it in 3D, but I did really, really like it. And it was in large part to Kate Winslet's beauty. She's just so stunning in that movie.
I guess her boobs would be in 3D, so maybe that's worth.
Maybe.
Worth it,
Shit,
worth
now I'm intrigued.
3 double D.
Wow. Wow.
No, this ain't Piranha, all right?
Right.
The other movie that's coming out is a supposed new movie, but it's a sequel. It's American Reunion, and that comes out on April 6th. That is the American Pie crew are reuniting for their high school reunion after many years spent getting jobs, families, being apart, etc. The entire gang's back, including Jim's dad and Stifler's mom. Who is a fan of this series?
I love it.
I am too. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm excited to see
Do you
this.
guys want to see a fourth one, though?
I do.
Yes.
That song that they play in every movie that Laid by Bear Jr. Mm-hmm. Just nostalgia all over again. The first movie came out when I was in high school, and it was hilarious.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Was it really that long ago? Mm-hmm. Wow.
I keep forgetting how young you are.
High school or like early, like freshman year of college, one of the two.
Okay.
And I loved it. And the sequels, weren't they were funny, but just that cast of characters, I can't wait to get in again, especially now that they're older and I'm a little older, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks hilarious. It's just nostalgia all over.
I think that cow's teats have got to be bruised. That franchise has been milked so much.
I agree. I'm with Brian. I have really very little desire to see this at all.
I'm excited.
I really liked the first one. The second one I thought was actually a pretty good sequel. The American Wedding I thought sucked.
Yeah, that one wasn't any good.
And so I really don't see why you would make a fourth one. Outside of...
Well, then they had all the spin-offs. The one with like
Those don't
Stifler's
count. Those
little
don't count.
Hey man,
That's not canon. That's bullshit.
Yeah, no, they.
He's talking about like it's Star Wars. That's not canon. I got that American Pie lore.
Well, that's the only thing that's coming out that weekend. So, I mean, those are your choices. So if you had to pick one, American Reunion or Titanic 3D, Scott?
I had a comment. I'm not going to say it. American Reunion.
You can say your comment.
No, I can't.
Okay. Justin?
If we're talking about which one to go to the theater and see, it's Titanic.
Really?
Because a comedy, it loses nothing coming to my TV as opposed to the big screen. But a Titanic, that kind of film, is definitely a big screen Titanic.
Yeah, I'm changing my vote too. Justin swayed me.
Boom.
Wow. Brian?
Well, if Justin didn't do it, then I would have, because that was my exact same reasoning too. So, coupled with the fact that I'm just not crazy about the American Pie, the big screen 3D Titanic, that would be my choice.
I'm going to go with Titanic without taking in any of their factors, because I'd rather see Titanic in 3D than another American Pie movie.
Take that, Stifler's mom.
That's
All right.
Take that, Stifler's mom. And by the way, not aging well. Stop showing her trying to get it on with other people.
I never thought she was that attractive
No.
to begin with.
I was a teenager. I wouldn't have fucked their mom. No. I don't care how horny I was.
Well, you had them lined up, maybe. Some of us.
Yeah,
didn't.
you probably would have.
Some of us were picking picking for slim.
Some of us had scraps.
Take what comes your way.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well,
Joe.
so that's Universal. I'm actually surprised by that. Titanic 3D is the choice. So let's see if that movie makes any money.
Hey, I influence people.
I think it did all right the first time. Maybe it'll do all right the second time.
Justin thinks I'm people.
Yeah.
You're special, all right.
You're good peoples.
What's this movie?
Now we're going to go into what's this movie. That's where each week we play a little movie quote and then or movie clip, and then you guys, if you think you know what it is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or tweet us at @h_outsider. If you get the answer right, we'll mention you on air. Last week's answer was Big Trouble in Little China, one of the best John Carpenter movies of the long line of John Carpenter movies that were good before 2000. Scott M. and Sean M., who get them right every damn week, got those right as well. So that's this week it's going to be Scotty's pick. So here's your clip.
All right, let me ask you a question. What side you taking the big David Lee Roth Van Halen split?
What do you mean? What kind of question is that?
What side did you take, Halen or Roth?
Van Halen.
He's a cop.
Oh, later taken.
It's strictly a judgment call. They sold a lot of records after Dave left the group. Come on, one more question. Hey, come on, cheers, one more.
Right. Who'd win in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy. God.
Wrong, dickhead. Trick question. Lemmy is God.
Okay, if you think you know what that is, then make sure to email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com or tweet us at H_outsider. Or you can go on Facebook, facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders there too. Now let's move on to The Couch, where each week we talk about the newest in TV news, what's coming out on DVD, and anything recent that we've seen or that's catching our eye. A couple quick pieces of news. HBO Go and Comcast Infinity, MLB TV, and I think that's about it. Join the Xbox Live crew. So basically, you can get those all on Xbox Live now. Does that make you guys happy?
You got to have a subscription for all of them, but
right, you got to have a subscription. But if you're an Xbox Live member, you can now get HBO Go, Comcast, and Major League Baseball.
What that was kind of cool too with the MLB is if you are a member and you're a big baseball fan, you can actually do split screen and watch 2 games at once, as opposed
Seriously?
to
Now, how much does that cost?
So you get twice the boredom.
Well, like I said, if you're into baseball, but
that seems like a lot of baseball. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as beginning of the season, it's not a whole.
You know what'd be sad is if you're watching 2 screens and nothing happens still. Wow, another strike on both sides.
Well, that's kind of keeps the action moving. You go to a bar to watch. It's more fun to watch games at a bar when they have all the games on. You can kind of watch one while there's action.
You're drunk.
Okay, well,
Justin doesn't like baseball.
I don't like baseball either. But Brian and Scott, you're both baseball fans. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't subscribe to the MLB TV thing, so it was just too expensive for, and I'm just not that interested in that many teams. But that being said, I actually downloaded the HBO Go thing on Xbox yesterday. Kind of just gave it a little test run and watched. Oddly enough, a little special thing about Game of Thrones, and it was all right. I mean, it wasn't. The quality was okay. I mean, the quality is actually just as good, if not better, on the iPad. But and I don't know. I would probably just rather download something. If I've got HBO, chances are you've got access to maybe download some kind of instant stuff, whatever they call it. I forget the actual watch now, watch instantly type of format thing where you can just download whatever you're looking for. Or I'd be more inclined to even just go to iTunes and download it. So it's not that big of a thing. It's not making me going to use my Xbox more. But there are those out there that are, more and more people are using the Xbox as a entertainment device and not just a video game.
Yeah, I think I was sharing that with Brian that I read that 60% of people that use Xbox, and not to turn this into Scott's podcast, but the 60% of people that use the Xbox now use it for things other than games. So the Xbox Live service, more people use it for video and music and everything else than they do for games. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, my friends list has at least a third of them are watching a video.
Yeah, watching a video, Netflix, TV, music, something. Yeah.
I think the PS3's Hulu is better than Xbox's, personally.
I don't have Hulu, so I don't really know. I don't use it.
Now, you said quality was okay. Does that mean there's no HD for that, Brian?
It was... I guess it was HD, but it was very pixely. So I guess it was buffering or what have you. I'm not real sure.
Okay.
But it would kind of lag a little bit. So it's not really going to make or break anything with me. So.
Okay. Well, next, and this is real quick. Mad Men had its 5th and final season premiere just recently, and it was its biggest episode yet. With over 4 million viewers. I just think that's funny. It's great for them. I mean, they're going out with a bang because it is the final season. But I also think it's funny that they're touting how it's the biggest opening yet. And it's like 4 million viewers. It's not like, it's not doing Walking Dead numbers or anything else. But for this show, it's doing very well. So if you're a fan of it, it's going out with a bang. Apparently the quality hasn't dropped. I don't watch this. Do any of you guys watch this show?
Oh, God, you don't watch Mad Men?
Do you watch it?
Oh, God, I fucking love that show. I love that show so much. It is so fucking good.
Do you really? You love this show?
Oh, love Mad Men. Love Mad Men.
How's the premiere?
Actually, fuck.
You haven't seen it?
Actually, I haven't watched it yet. And again, I have to blame my wife. The night it came on, we were doing other things, and I download them on iTunes, and it's ready to watch waiting, but this week has just been crazy with our schedule, so I have not watched it. I can't wait to see it, though. Mad Men is a show she and I both just adore. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, then it's the biggest episode yet, so congratulations.
Good, thank you.
I didn't contribute at all. Don't thank me.
Well, as usual.
Last piece of TV news: Whoopi Goldberg and Lindsay Lohan are going to guest star on Glee next season. I don't know. I just want to. Is this a rating stunt or inspired casting?
Rating. Whoopi Goldberg, I don't get. Lindsay Lohan is just for ratings.
Whoopi Goldberg sings.
What's that?
Whoopi Goldberg sings.
Well, that's fine.
What does she sing?
Didn't she do both those Sister Act movies, and she sang in both?
Did she sing in them? I didn't
thought
watch
she
them.
did.
I didn't watch them. I abstained.
I don't
like a
watch
true nut.
I see what you
anymore,
did
so
there.
I don't care.
Yeah, glad you caught it.
Lindsay Lohan is completely for ratings. Look at she was on Saturday Night Live like right when she got out, right? Wasn't it?
Right when she got out.
Which time?
The most recent time. Or she was on. She
was just on it when she did her Playboy spread.
Oh, okay.
Because she wanted to promote that. Apparently, she doesn't have any actual work to promote, so she just promotes Playboy spreads. Hey, look what I did there! I showed my boobies. Yay!
Whatever. It's like a jump the shark moment. I mean, how long can these kids be in high school anyway?
Yeah, I know. Weren't they supposed to say that like the main ones are supposed to leave after this season or something? Are they sticking around now, or are they bringing in Whoopi Goldberg instead? Like the high school is really expanding that age minimum. I don't really know what she serves the purpose there, unless she's going to be a teacher, I assume.
No child left behind, even if he's 26.
That's a show I kind of wish they would have quit while they were ahead, because like I liked it at the beginning, and I don't know.
Season 1 was fantastic.
Oh, it was so good.
And then season 2 just was long, painful slide downhill.
I didn't finish it, although I did.
I didn't either.
I liked the episode, the Britney episode.
I've heard that was actually pretty good.
Britney is hot.
The girl that Britney was in it, but it's the girl that whose name is also Britney in the show is like I think she's the hottest one in that show, and she's like a minor character.
Let's go on to Did You See That, where we talk about anything we've seen this week, really, or that's catching our eye. This week, we could have talked about Mad Men, but Justin apparently was too busy. But he did see...
You would have cared anyway.
I wouldn't have. But I would have listened to you because other people might. So, you did see The Muppets, though. What did you think? That was both Scott and I's top 5 of the year list.
It's my number one.
Really enjoyed it. I'm not a Muppets guy. For whatever reason, puppets just have never done it for me, whether it's Muppets, whether it's Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street. I've never cared for it. I don't hate them, just it doesn't do anything for me. But knowing Jason Segel was doing this and how much he loved the Muppets and everybody else enjoying it, I picked it up on Blu-ray, watched it last night, thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was so much fun. It was just self-aware enough that you bought into everything. I think the only thing I didn't like was the guy Cooper, who played the main bad guy, McOilerson or whatever his name was.
Chris Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he was all that great, and especially when he did that maniacal laugh. It just irritated the shit out of me. But other than that, it was fun, funny, the songs were good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I rewatched it this week also, too. I will say the second time it's not as fun because a lot of the humor is
ruined, yeah.
Is the first time you see it, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and the maniacal laugh, and I said that when I reviewed it originally, is that...
It's too many times.
Too many times. Mm-hmm. The first time was funny, then it wasn't.
It wasn't even funny the first time. Second time, even less so.
I thought it was funny.
But it was a minor thing.
I thought it was funny. But you really liked it? You enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah. Really enjoyed it. Maybe now I can finally come around to the Muppets and become a fan and, phenomena.
Do you still have the Blu-ray, Justin?
I bought it, yeah.
Oh, you bought it? Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out the special features. There's actually I know it's nothing new, but they actually do like an outtakes reel and
yeah, it's good. I love when they do cartoons. These things that the outtakes are obviously pre-rendered and created on the thing. It was a lot of fun.
Some of them look like they were real outtakes too. I don't know if they were scripted that way, but some of it like there's banter.
Weren't they with puppets?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
but even the person doing the
gotcha.
puppeting can screw up.
Yeah,
but some of them looked, like they were created for an outtake reel. But yeah, some of them looked genuinely. Oh shit!
And they actually do a little bit more with some of those minor characters, like Zach
Gotcha.
Galifianakis, that was in there for like 2 seconds.
Mhm.
And they do a whole bit with him that's hilarious. It's the special features
I
are
don't
worth
get
checking
it.
out.
What'd you give it out of 10?
I give it a good 7.5, maybe an 8.
All right.
Really funny. I gut laughed several times.
That's the Muppets. Justin, give us a record. Now all we need is Brian. We got unanimous verdict. So let's go into DVD. Coming out April 3rd. This is what's coming out. War Horse. We Bought a Zoo, which is not about the horse. It's something different. They buy a zoo in their backyard. I don't know. Brian saw it. You liked it, right?
Yeah, I liked it. It's just a good, it's a good family movie.
Warm and touching. I saw War Horse and I liked it.
No,
but
there was no touching involved. It's just a good, just a good family movie.
I'd rather see it if it had touching involved.
Yeah, I know it, but that's why all those restraining orders are out on it.
And then Tyrannosaur and Angel Crest are a couple made for DVD releases. If you could buy one, which one would you buy, Scott?
We Bought a Zoo, just on Brian's recommendation. He hasn't steered me wrong yet.
Yeah, I'm actually with Scott. Justin?
If I had to, War Horse, I guess. If you fucking put a gun to my head and said, buy one, bitch. Otherwise, no thanks. I'll save my fucking money.
Brian?
It would, it would probably be We Bought a Zoo. I would want to buy Tyrannosaur, but it's absolutely nothing like the name implies. So
yeah,
why is it about a brontosaurus?
No, it's like a serious movie or something. It's got nothing to do with dinosaurs, I don't think. So.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Each week, we talk about a little-known or obscure film one of us podcasters would like to recommend to you guys. When you leave the podcast, you've got something new to listen to. This week, it is Justin's turn. Mr. McCumber, sell us your movie.
I'll try and keep this as brief as possible so we can motor on. There was a film that came out in 87, which was really, I think the entire 80s was just owned by John Hughes, especially when it came to movies about teenagers and about high school. Nobody did it better than Hughes before, while, or since. But there was one film that came out in 1987 called 3 O'Clock High that starred Casey Siemaszko. He's gone on to do other bit parts and other things. I think the only thing I really know him other than this was Young Guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in that. But it's 3 O'Clock High. He plays a high school student who is in the journalism class. He runs the high school store, which I didn't even know fucking existed until this movie, because the little schools I went to had no store in it. But he's a student who is asked to write a story about the new kid in school who is played by Richard Tyson. And there are all these stories going around about this kid and what he did and the people he's beat up and burned down. So this mousy character has to do a story on this guy who completely scares the shit out of him, and he inadvertently offends this guy. And so Richard Tyson's character, Buddy, says, at 3 o'clock, we're going to fight. And so the whole movie is about him dreading 3 o'clock coming and his kind of transformation as a character. There's there's plot threads of this girl that likes him, but he ignores her because there's the blonde that he likes more. There's this whole stupid subplot about the money of the store getting stolen and a police detective getting involved. But it's really about Casey's character, watching him evolve. It is so much fun, especially when he gets to the point where he knows he's going to get his ass beat, so he just takes a fuck it attitude. And there's a scene with him in his English class that I watched the movie again recently, and it still had me rolling. If you can't like 80s films, if you can't get past the music or the colors of the decoration, the whole thing, you're not going to like it. But it is no Breakfast Club, but I definitely think it deserves to be mentioned in the same conversation where you're going to talk about John Hughes films. 3 O'Clock High, it is available on DVD. You can get it on Netflix. You can even stream it. It is available on streaming. And it is just really fun. Not a lot of cursing, not nudity, no drugs. It's just a good, honest film that anybody who was in high school can sympathize with it and see a little bit of themselves in.
Oh, good. That's 3 O'Clock High.
3 O'Clock Eye.
I actually love that movie. I saw it when I was a kid. Loved it. It's a great movie. Good
Him
choice.
and his English teacher.
Good.
It's a good read.
It is. That's a great movie. That's a good choice. I never even would have thought of that one, but that's a really good movie, especially if you can get past the complexities of the 80s that are very much part of that movie. But it's a good movie. Now let's go to our Stump the Hoe question and answer, where Brian Williams earlier had us draw a box. Brian, can you repeat the actual question? That would be super.
All right. In the Hunger Games, the character Marvel is played by the son of which famous Hollywood couple? A. Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon, which is what Scott said.
Mm-hmm.
B. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. That's what Aaron said.
Mm-hmm.
C. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Or D. Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick, which is Justin's answer.
I wonder who was right.
Not fair because he didn't see it, but
yeah.
Okay. The answer is B.
Oh.
Dennis, the son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. Jack Quaid played Marvel. He's the male tribute from District 1.
Yeah, and honestly, you shouldn't ask. It's really not fair because it was a Dennis Quaid question, and I actually knew that answer. I did.
Did you know everything about Dennis
I
Quaid?
do. I kind of know what he's doing right now because I've got a camera outside his house.
You got the Dennis Quaid tracker app on your phone?
If they had one, I'd have it.
Because I'm all miniaturized and up in his body.
No, I didn't know that, but that's that was a good question, man. Good job. Next week, one of our other podcasters will try to stump the other host. So let's go into From the Outside In. That's where every week we talk about a topic that's on ours or our listeners' minds. Last week we had a really exciting topic. I invite you guys to go back and listen to that one. That was pretty good. But this week, because we're getting ready to come up on basically second quarter of 2012 in the film business, we're going to talk about the movies we're looking forward to the most from April, May, and June. So just like we did a few months ago, we're going to pick our top 3 most anticipated movies, let you know what they are, and hopefully it might be one that you didn't even know about. I'm sure there's going to be a couple that you already are full aware of, but let's start with Scott. What are your top 3 most anticipated movies, sir?
All right.
Of the next 3 months, not of the whole year.
Of the next 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the easy picks are going to be Avengers, which is on May 4th, and Prometheus, which was my most anticipated movie of the year, which we talked about at the end of the year.
Of the whole year?
Yeah.
Okay.
June 8th. And then my third is Rock of Ages, which comes out on June 15th.
Well, no, real quick. I mean,
Nice.
you're jettison ahead, but like the Avengers. What is the Avengers? I mean, why are you so excited to see that?
Well, I mean, it's a culmination of like all of the cool characters from the other superhero movies. Iron Man, the Green Arrow, which is a new one. Actually, he wasn't in a movie before. The Hulk.
Not the Green Arrow. Green Arrow's not in that. That's DC.
That's Hawkeye.
That's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye? Okay, my bad.
He was in a movie.
Was he?
Iron Man.
Yeah.
No.
He was in
Thor.
Thor.
Oh, see, I didn't see Thor, so
Yeah.
that's my bad.
Oh, you haven't seen Thor?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Then you can't see
man.
Avengers.
You're grounded.
All right, I'm changing Avengers to Men in Black.
34.
You can just pick your 3. What are your 3?
I did.
Okay.
Prometheus, the Alien movies are Alien 1 and 3 are.
This isn't an alien movie, Scotty.
No,
That's what Ridley Scott says.
1,
isn't
2,
an
and 3
alien
are
movie.
movies that I never get tired of watching, and the idea of this one tying into the beginning of Alien, I'm super excited about, and the trailers to me are perfect for selling me on this movie. It just looks like a lot of fun, good acting, a lot of fun action, and I really don't know what's going on, and I'm okay with that, so I'm going into it blind. Rock of Ages is more like a musical. It's actually been a stage play. With a lot of like popular 80s songs and that kind of thing. We talked about it on the previous show. Tom Cruise is in it. I have a friend that's actually seen the stage play, and he's a huge fan of 80s music. And
it's like actors singing 80s songs, right?
Right.
Isn't that
It's
what
not it's not the actual. It's like different a little tweak renditions of it. So it's not like karaoke, but I'm
kind
Mm-hmm.
really
of a
looking.
Glee version.
Yeah, kind of like it's a good way to put it. But it looks hilarious. It looks like good music. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of music, and I'm really excited to see that. I will be seeing that one in the theater.
Okay. Justin, what are your top 3?
I have to say that I knew those movies are going to come up, so I, of course, avoided those so that I don't duplicate people. Coming up in April, a movie that I'm really looking forward to seeing is Lockout with Guy Pearce and Maggie Grace. A good sci-fi film, prison in space. Can't fucking go wrong. The trailers have all looked fantastic for it. And the month after that, I want to see God Bless America. Comes out May 11th.
Ooh,
this is a
interesting
lesser-known movie, directed and written by Bobcat Goldthwait. It's about a guy who finds out that he's dying, and he just decides that he is done taking the bullshit that our society puts out, our adoration of people who don't deserve it, people being assholes and getting away with it. It looks hysterical. Really cannot wait to see that film. And then coming up on June 22nd, I got to go with Brave. Pixar has really not done a whole lot wrong, the Cars films aside. But a movie that takes place in Scotland that has those accents all through it sounds like heaven. It looks gorgeous. The trailers I've seen are amazing. And I'm really excited to see them do a movie that focuses on a female protagonist as opposed to the long run of male-focused films that they've done. It looks phenomenal.
Wow.
I'm with you on how gorgeous that movie looks. Just like even in the trailers I've seen, the hair effects of her red hair just look really cool in that movie.
That looks like a really, and it's really, what is it about? What is it really about?
It looks she's the daughter of some king, and all these guys have got to come in and win her hand in a contest, but she knows that she's better than that and better than them, and it looks like some sort of supernatural element comes in to raise a ruckus, and she's got to help solve it.
Wow. All right, I'll go next. I'll let Brian save his for last. Because usually I go last, so I'm going to shake it up. I want to be in the middle for once.
Ooh,
I want to be part of the sandwich.
Look at you.
I'm tired of being the buns, man. I want to be the meat.
Keep us on our toes. Don't know where he's going. Is he going left? Is he going right? I don't know.
And Lockout is April 13th, by the way. I completely forgot to mention that date, and we were informed we need dates.
Absolutely. And that
April
looks
13th.
That looks very, I really want to see that too, because it looks very much like Escape from New York-esque.
It does.
And I really...
Escape from space.
Escape from space, bitch. Well, here's my top three, and I'm doing them in order. These are the order I want to see them most anticipated. Okay? My number one most anticipated movie the next 3 months is Cabin in the Woods, which comes out April 13th. That is Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard wrote this. Drew Goddard directed it. But it's a flick about 5 friends that end up at a remote cabin and things go wrong. And at first I thought, well, it's just going to be like an Evil Dead ripoff or a bunch of guys or a bunch of people are stranded at a cabin and it gets evil and shit. But apparently it doesn't go it doesn't go the way you expect it, and it's a total mindfuck of a movie, but it's supposed to be fantastic. Everything I've read up on it and reviews I've seen, because I've looked for a lot of info on it, and it says that this movie will blow your mind. Comes out April 13th, and I'm more anxious for this than I am my next film, which is The Avengers, obviously. May 4th. I'll be there for the midnight show. I definitely want to see it because I want to see Green Arrow and Superman and... Oh, wait. Wrong movie.
Underdog?
Aquaman's going to show up. Basically, it's a culmination of Marvel superheroes of Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and everybody else. But it looks good. It's also my most feared movie of the next 3 months because I'm so afraid. Even though Joss Whedon's behind it and I love Joss to death, I'm really worried that this is too easy a thing to fuck up. Is that fair enough? Like, this is one of those movies that just screams...
There's too much good going for it.
Yeah.
It's bound to trip and fall.
It's one of those things where I'm too worried that with the egos involved, the characters involved, all the people... I've heard a lot about Robert Downey Jr. wanting his part beefed up and stuff like that. I'm really worried that something's going to go wrong and it's going to be too much, but I'm taking total faith in Joss Whedon. I won't read a single review about the movie before I see it. I don't want to know anything about it. I won't watch any more trailers about it. Even if they come up with a new, cooler one, I will not watch it. I know enough because from what I understand, they haven't revealed who the bad guys are yet. They've only seen a glimpse of it, which is what's the guy from Thor?
Loki.
They've shown Loki, but apparently he's not the main bad guy. So I don't want to know anymore. I just want to go in so I can enjoy the movie from fresh perspective.
I want to know what they're going to play after the credits.
Yeah, there's nothing left, right?
They'll be teasing the next one.
My third most anticipated movie, it wasn't, and this is the list. You can come look at it, Scott. I didn't change it because of Prometheus coming up or anything else. My third most anticipated was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I had that.
Which comes out June 22nd. which is why I wanted to go before Brian. So, because I know it's going to be on his. But that's directed by Wanted's Timur. How do you say his name? Do you know how to say his name? Timur
Bekmambetov.
Yeah, see? Fucking foreign names aren't as easy as they sound, are they, bitch?
Timur Bekmambetov.
He directed Wanted, which obviously was a really visually fantastic movie. And the title says exactly what the movie is. I mean, it's Abraham Lincoln as a vampire hunter. There's a graphic novel, which is really interesting. I finally checked out, and it looks pretty cool. Now I really want to see it. It's such a ridiculous concept, idea, the story, the picture, everything about it looks fucking ridiculous.
Looks fun.
But for some reason, it looks like it's going to be fun. So I really want to see it. Those are my three. Cabin in the Woods, April 13th, Avengers, and Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Brian, go ahead.
Well, apparently April 13th is a pretty big day. I mean, not only is there a few big movies that we all want to see, because April 13th is on my list too with Cabin in the Woods, but it's also my birthday. And I didn't even realize that my birthday was, Friday
13th.
Exactly. And I just found out tonight that my birthday is pretty close to Halloween. So just a couple weeks after. So that's awesome.
Everybody misses that, but Scott mistakenly thought Halloween was apparently on March 31st.
So.
Long story, but God, is it funny.
So anyway, the cabin in the Woods is my pick, also for April 13th. Followed, well, actually,
why do you want to see it? Because you're not as huge as
here.
You're what? Not. Well, hang on. You're not as huge of a Joss Whedon fan as I am.
Nothing? I don't care who's directing it.
That's why I'm asking you. Why do you want to see it?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up collecting comic books and everything, and this is, I mean, like Scott said, this is the culmination of these past, handful of comic book movies. This is the culmination of years of childhood geekdom. So I'm amped. This one is my most anticipated for the Avengers. I am somewhat keeping like maybe a 5-10%, just little piece kind of pulled back, just because I am skeptic that this is so big that it's like the Hindenburg. There is that potential
bound
to just
explode,
crash and burn, and in a
have
fiery
faith, man. Have faith.
Those action scenes, even in the trailer, just look so much fun.
I mean, they really do, and that's and like
no
you.
way this will fail.
Don't say that. You remember that Titanic thing that's coming out this weekend?
And what's your third one?
Again, Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter on June 22nd. I read the book, or I'm sorry, listened to the book, and so it was
Joe.
No.
So your three are the same as my three?
Yeah.
I'm really glad I went first then. Yeah. No, but my question was, and I think you misunderstood, and I'm sorry, but why you're not as big a Joss Whedon fan as I am. Why do you want to see Cabin in the Woods so much?
I want a fresh horror movie.
Okay.
Even if it's not even exactly a horror movie. I'm totally intrigued by this flipping the genre on its head type of movie that this apparently is. The little bit that that we saw in the trailer was enough to say, you know what, I want to see this. I don't want to see any more about it because I don't want to try to figure it out before I see it. So it just anything new and innovative that kind of flips a genre on its head, I'm in for. So
okay. Well, those are ours. Scott, let's recap. What are your three movies that you're most looking forward to?
Avengers, Rock of Ages, and Prometheus.
What are the dates?
Avengers, May 4th, Rock of Ages, June 15th, and Prometheus, June 8th.
And Justin?
Well, heck, I closed down those windows. You didn't warn me ahead of time that I was going to need to know all these dates.
We'll come back to you then.
Jesus.
Brian, ours are the same three, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll just read your list here.
Yeah.
Going chronologically, April 13th, The Cabin in the Woods. May 4th, The Avengers. And then June 22nd, Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Justin, are you ready? Getting there? Okay.
One thing. Edit, bitch.
So this is Aaron's list. April 13th, The Cabin in the Woods. May 4th, The Avengers. June 22nd, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. You ready now?
You know what movie we didn't have? Well, here, I'll do it. Lockout was on April 13th. What was your second movie?
I'm looking for it.
Just tell me what the movie was.
Do what?
Tell me what the movie was.
Hugo.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, no, not exactly on Hugo. No, it was God Bless America, which is May 11th.
Okay. And then Brave was the last one.
No, Brave was actually, Brave was...
That was June 22nd.
June 22nd. You don't have to scroll crazy, man. We got it.
There you go.
The thing I'm surprised about is nobody out of all four of us mentioned Men in Black 3. Nobody.
It was on my original list.
Well, why wouldn't it stay?
It's not that we don't want to see it, but I can think of at least 6 movies that I want to see more than that.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably one of the movies that I'll end up seeing for the show, but I really don't care if I see it. It's not going to affect me one way or the other. So
I almost went with G.I. Joe 2.
I did too. I was thinking about it.
Because I really like that movie.
We'll find out. That's it for the show, guys. Next week, we are going to have a review for Wrath of the Titans. Not really sure who's going to see it yet, but somebody will. And I just want to take a minute and thank each of the podcasters. Brian Williams, thanks for being here, buddy.
Glad to be here.
And glad to have you. And he's also available at Brian WMS. Justin McCumber, Mr. Author, Esquire, thanks for being here.
That was my pleasure, man.
Always is. He is also the host of the Dead Robot Society podcast, which is a podcast for writers by writers. You can also find him at justinmccumber.com. And his book, Haywire, is in stores now. It's available at Amazon and also available for Kindle and your Nook. Scott Clark, thanks for being here, buddy.
No worries.
Thanks for once again enduring lots of grief at your expense. We appreciate you suffering through. Thanks for teaching us when Halloween happens.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon Lee died on Halloween, by the way, which is on March 31st. Just so you guys know. Little tidbit. Fun fact. Scott is the host of the Official Thread podcast, which is a podcast for gamers. And it's also available at Official Thread. Make sure to check that out. It's a good game good game podcast.
Game shit.
It's a good game shit and a game show.
It's a good gay shit podcast.
Make sure to keep an ear out. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, we are going to have a Game of Thrones spoiler cast coming out pretty soon in the next few days. So look for that because we're going to try to get it out right before season 2 hits. Make sure to stay through the credits, as always, for a few outtakes from the show. You can always find us at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That's thehollywoodoutsiders.com, or on Facebook at facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. Email us with any Stump the Hoe questions, thoughts, concerns, or maybe some flashback DVD suggestions of your own at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Make sure to tell your friends, man. We do this show for you. So the more people you tell, the more people listen to it. You can subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader, listen on your Stitcher radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or just any plain old RSS feed. Also, we are on Twitter at H_outsider. So much to say, man. So much to say. And remember, the next time that you go to a theater, make sure...
Buy Jew Bears.
Buy Jew Bears, and then grab some popcorn. Buy popcorn. See you guys.
How many times must I thank your mom before you realize that we got something special?
Motherfucker.
Oh, God. All right, next time you go to the theater, buy popcorn. Buy it, buy it, buy it.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
She's on her
better
own.
now that I'm not hungry. That was really fantastic. Thank you.
Wasn't it? Aren't those things delicious?
Yeah, really good.
I don't even want to ask what you ate at Aaron's house.
It was a
mini Aaron.
microwavable thing.
He's like, I can still feel him swimming.
Are you even listening to it? Go to my website. It's up there.
I got it up.
Oh, that's what she said.
I thought it was our website.
Jesus.
If not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's always funny that whenever he wants us to do more work, it's, hey, this is you guys' thing too, but... While he's watching that, I'm going to let my dogs in real quick.
Is that what they call it?
Let the dogs in.
Brian.
Fucking retards.
It's called Furious Angels, yeah.
Who spanks it in church? That seems like a double sin.
Who doesn't?
When they talk about being filled with the Spirit, I thought they meant my spunk.
Oh, Jesus.
No, he didn't. He said Mike high five.
Yeah, I mean now there's a... What the fuck is a snorting?
That's my cat.
Oh.
Sneezing. Sorry. I'll mute.
I had two lists prepared because I assumed that we were going to be throwing out...
You assumed we would be cheating? You assumed I would be cheating? You
I don't
assumed...
see how you can see this as cheating.
I don't...
It
Go
just
with
makes
me,
for more
Justin. It makes
interesting-
him sad.
It makes for a more
okay.
interesting conversation if we bring different ones to light.
Says who? Is this the official Thread podcast? I don't think it is.
Just trying to help, man.
People listen to this one, though, right?
Oh!
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. It was low-hanging fruit. I had to pick it. I couldn't just walk past that.
Oh, I think you just kicked him in his low-hanging fruit.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Nobody listens to my
my
podcast.
ear.
My wife hates me.
Oh, God. See? Now, that's what you caused, Justin. Nobody listens to my podcast, and my wife hates me.
I didn't mean it.
Notice which order he went with. This is a Hollywood Outsider. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. With me today are my co-host, Scott Clark.
What is going on, Aaron?
Not much, brother. Justin McCumber. And Brian Williams. Are you there?
Oh, my God.
Can we start over?
Hard not decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home.